Alrighty, guys, welcome to week one of our Choose to Cruise program. This week we are starting it off with the topic of sponsoring. And Anya's going to kick us off. Anya, if you'll just start with why we started with sponsoring this time.
Okay, so we started with sponsoring this time because it is probably the most difficult for most people. We want it at the very beginning because you don't know who's going to come out the gate and be a rock star. You don't know who's going to take a little bit of time to get to get certified, for them for the trip points and for you as their sponsor. So we figured if we put it at the beginning, we had plenty of time to get those people who are moving a little slower to certified for the best benefit of everybody here who wants the incentive. So that was kind of like sponsoring has to be first because it should be one of our biggest focuses in this incentive. You ready for me to go?
I am.
Okay, we're just jumping
here for it.
Okay, so we're going to start with why sponsoring is so important. This is vital to your business. Okay, there's a reason why this is one of the 3 legs of success, right? We have that stool. It's got coaching, sponsoring, right? PRV. Sponsoring is huge, 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 huge. It is just as important as your PRV. Okay, if you want to build a big business, if you want to get your incentives, it is just as important. So for so many reasons, okay, the first reason that in my mind, in my heart, is to bless others. That's the first reason sponsoring is so important. I've told you guys multiple times, if you've heard me train before, it is not about you, okay? You are no longer like the person. It is about those that you're sponsoring, right? Your teammates, they are first. So to bless others, okay, Scentsy is so good to us. Scentsy so good to us. Scentsy is a means to get the life that you've always dreamed of. There's no ceiling income. So why would we not offer that to anybody and everybody that we could? Okay. So that's the first thing. It's selfish to hold on to that. Straight up. It's selfish to be like, oh, I'm not going to ask people because I'm embarrassed, or like, I know it's awkward. I know just do it. It's for other people. When you start to look at it as a blessing to help someone else's life, it will change your mindset completely. Okay. Next, to get a better paycheck. Hey, we're all here for that, right? We all want a good paycheck, right? Okay, so that's huge. You get bonuses from Scentsy when you're paid at title. You cannot be paid at title if you are not a leader. You cannot be a leader without a team. It's like this whole trickle effect, okay? So you've got to grow. You've got to grow your team. You've got to grow your business. That is like the main thing for us. We're always trying to grow in every single way, okay? So eventually, right, Scentsy gives you these bonuses. They're like, good job leading your team. You are now paid at title. Here's all these bonuses because you did what you're supposed to, and you're raising up people to do the same. That's why Scentsy gives us those bonuses, and it just ups our check, okay? So that's a big, big reason to sponsor, all right? But eventually, you can't just rely on one person. You have to keep sponsoring. This isn't something where you're like, I'm going to sponsor 5 people and I'll never have to sponsor again. No, you've got to keep doing it because eventually you will have someone who becomes a director. When they become a director, and this is like later on, then their team numbers are no longer your team numbers. So you've got to keep sponsoring to keep your team numbers up so you can keep getting your bonuses from Scentsy, okay? Another reason is you cannot depend, again, on 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. people in your frontline that you've personally sponsored to get you to those numbers, right? For your group, for your team to get those bonuses. You can't just rely on a few people. What happens if, I don't know, let's just be ridiculous. You got 5 frontline, 4 of them are out partying together and they all get rolled up by the police. You got 1 person left. That's not going to help you get to where you need to be, okay? And yes, that might be a little crazy, but it may not be. Let's just be real. It may not be. If you were at Myrtle Beach, like it is a possibility, okay? So there's just that. But that's the kind of thing. What if you have 2 or 3 people that had a really bad month, right? You cannot just rely on, oh no, these girls, they always are on top of it. Not everybody's always on top of it 24/7. No one's perfect. Okay. So you got to keep growing that team. You want a big, wide front line if you want a big business. Okay. All right. Next, I have sponsoring should be a lifestyle. And this one's kind of long, but it's important because it has to be something that you're doing consistently and it's got to be a focus. Remember, it's just as important as your PRV. Okay. So This is something that needs to keep happening, okay? When something's a lifestyle, it means it's like a part of how you live, okay? If someone's like, oh, yeah, I'm a bicyclist or cyclist, I don't know, whatever it is, what are you expecting, right? You're expecting that, oh, they're probably on their bicycle multiple times a week. This is like what they do. I'm a bicyclist. Okay, so you're going to be riding your bike all the dang time. You probably got those cute little shorts doing the darn thing. Like you have adopted that as your lifestyle, right? It's the same thing for you. Okay, it's the same thing. You're a Scentsy consultant. If you want something out of this business, if you want this incentive, this needs to be a lifestyle for you. Okay, so y'all, I had a golfer on here, not a cyclist for a lifestyle. Anyways, but their lifestyle is going to show that that's something they do consistently in their life. Okay, so for our sponsoring, this is something that you need to have a system for in order for it to be consistent. I know some people have no team, so they're like, probably don't even know what a system is. It's just how you do something. Okay, how are you doing it? How are you paying attention to who you're going to sponsor? How are you actually sponsoring people, right? How are you looking at different people to see who to sponsor? That's going to be your system for that, okay? You should be intentionally scrolling through Facebook. That should be a part of your lifestyle. We're not just sitting on the toilet, right? My husband does, scrolling through Facebook for 30 freaking minutes. No, we have things to do, okay? We're looking for who needs this opportunity. We're looking for all these things, and those are people to take and write down, okay? So you're gonna write those people down. That's gonna be a part of your system, who you're looking at. Oh, this person could probably use it. So that's a part of lifestyle. When I say that, I'm saying you're not just sitting on Facebook scrolling for an hour with no result or no thought about this person could party, this person could sponsor, etc. Okay, Scentsy needs to be in your mind. Another thing is, think about this. You need to be intentionally looking at customers, intentionally having a way to keep track of these people that you're looking at, right? For me, I put everything on my phone notes. I've got like a running list of who I'm talking to. Those interested in the Scentsy business or who you think would be a consultant. But another big thing is with that, in the back of your mind running, I'm always looking for people, right? The other thing is a lifestyle should be fun and it should be interesting, especially if you want people joining you in that lifestyle. Okay. If I see Bob golfing and he's like, I'm a golfer, and I say, okay, Bob, that's great. And he shows me one picture of him golfing and it's the back of him swinging his little club. That is not interesting to me. I do not want to be a golfer. That did not pull me in, okay? So you have to think about things like that too. What are you doing in your business to show your customers it's going to look fun? To show other people who might be interested, it's fun. If it's boring, no one wants to do it, okay? Have fun in your lifestyle. This is a fun business. You get to talk to people. You literally get paid to make friends, okay? So it should be super fun. So in the chat, go ahead. We're gonna vote for this real quick, all right? So if I take a picture of, because I did this the other day, I was sitting on the couch and I was doing mail outs. I took a picture of just my samples and I put happy mail. That's to get my customers excited, okay? Because they know it's coming. But if I do that every single month, just a picture of samples, happy mail every single month, okay? Does that seem like a job that someone wants to do? Go ahead and drop your answer in the chat. Like, okay, a bunch of wax samples. Yay, right? Okay. Everybody's like, Nikki said guilty. Okay, but listen, hear me out on this. If I sit there and I, every once in a while, throw a video in there of me being silly while I'm making samples, my kids laughing and having a good time while making samples, right? Us doing things as a family, making samples, anything like that, that might spark someone's interest. Does that not seem more fun to you than just a picture of samples? If I have great music playing and I'm dancing around my kitchen making samples, or my kids are like, ew, that's disgusting, or ew, I love that, that is going to catch people's eye. That's your lifestyle. Okay? Make sense? All right, I got another one for you. Ready? If Whitney posts just a status on Facebook and she says, so blessed to be a part of Scentsy, our team is great, period, enter. Does that make you want to join Whitney's team? Does it sound like she's doing something fun and exciting and great? No. It does not. Thank you. You guys are like, no. Yes, super spammy. Like, why is that even a thing? Please stop. Like, no, thank you. Okay. Now, if Anya is over here and Anya's posting pictures, she's at SFR, having a good old time, dancing the night away, right? Posting pictures of when she gets happy mail from her leader and she's all excited about it. Okay. Things like that. Packaging up orders, whatever it is. If I'm doing all of that, does that not seem more interesting? Like, wait a minute, she's a part of a community. Hold on. Look at how she's packaging those orders. That looks fun. I can do that. All of those things are your Scentsy lifestyle. Okay. So when you're sharing all of that stuff, it's for a reason. We don't tell you just to share, just to share. It's because we want people to see you as successful, right? People join successful people. Okay. We also want people to see that what you're doing is fun. You are a part of a community who really loves you and uplifts you and wants to see you succeed. Okay. That is rare to come by nowadays. Can we just throw that out there? Like, that is not normal. All right. So super important. So you think about that. You think about which person you would rather join, which person makes their job look a little more fun, right? Or which person seems like it's, okay, they could do without it. You don't want to be the person that looks like they could do without it. All right. It's your lifestyle. It's a part of that's a part of your brand. It's a part of who you are. Okay. So you've got to share the blessing of Scentsy, what it's doing for you, what it's doing for your family. Okay. How it affects you mentally, emotionally, all of these things. When Scentsy sends you a bunch of freaking wax for doing your job because you got the last incentive, all of that needs to be shared about how blessed you are and how exciting you are, and put your face in it. People want to see your face. That could be anybody's 6-pack of wax. Okay. And I know because I take people's 6-pack of wax off Instagram all the time. Okay. And it ain't mine. But if my face is in there, that's mine. Okay. So we're sharing our lifestyle in that way. All right. People are attracted to you for a reason, particularly you. Maybe you're not the person to bounce around the kitchen. That's okay. Find who you are and make it you to share that. Okay. It's your lifestyle. It's huge. All right. So if you're getting a PRV card from your director or above, share it on your stories, tag them, be excited about it, right? If you're in a training like this is the part where you all pull your phones out and take a picture, okay? We're excited, we're happy to be here, we're working together to get the incentive. All of these things, your Scentsy life, okay? People don't know they can go to Alaska if you don't tell them, right? They don't know that they could go get an extra coffee or actually put money in savings if you don't tell them. These things are what's going to attract people to you for the lifestyle, to have them come to you. And let me just be honest, it is very, very rare that people will just fall into your lap and say, oh, I want to be a Scentsy consultant. So the other part about this lifestyle is you've got to be talking to people. You've got to talk to them. You've got to ask them if they've ever thought about doing what you're doing, right? You've got to talk to all those people, and Whitney will get into the how you do that, right? And who you're looking for, but you've got to get out there and talk to people. If you don't open your mouth, they don't know. If you don't even plant that seed, even if they say no. I had someone who's told me no 2 or 3 times because that seed was planted. I've had people be like, no, I've never thought that I could do what you do. Later on, they join. Why? Because I planted that seed. Like, yes, you can do what I do. Why not? If I can do it, you can do it, right? But when we make it real, we show our lifestyle and we talk to people. That's what this is all about, okay? So our lifestyle that we've talked to leaders about always is 2 by 2 by 6, 2 teamies a month, 2K PRV for 6 months. So you do want to be shooting for 2 teamies a month. They're not just going to come to you. You have to go to them. Okay. And all of that happens when you're sharing your lifestyle. You see Susie Q liking your live about the incentive post about what's going on in our business. Go message her. Hey girl, you know what? I really appreciate your support. Did you ever think about doing this? You've got to talk to people. All right. That's going to be huge. So your lifestyle is consistent. We talk about it. We share it. It is a part of who we are. Okay. And then we also put it out there to make people know that this is an opportunity they can also do. That's going to be huge. All right. So it has to be consistent. That is going to be your biggest thing. Consistently talking about this opportunity, consistently sharing your Scentsy lifestyle. All right. All right. That's what I got for you guys tonight. Talk to all the people.
Yes. Okay. So I'm going to talk about the how and what to do. How to sponsor. I'm going to say right now, there is not one response to this. There are so many different ways to sponsor, y'all. But in a big picture, I'm going to give y'all an acronym ATF. ATF when you're sponsoring, we're going to ask, track, and follow up. Those are the 3 most important things of sponsoring, because here's why. 1, we're going to ask. It really comes down to how many conversations are you having? Anytime that one of my teammates, sorry, I got to move this. I got to have something to look at. I can't look at myself while I'm talking. Sorry. Okay. Anytime I have a team that says I'm struggling with sponsoring, the first question I ask them is, how many conversations have you had this month? You can ask any of my people. That's my first question always. Because if you come to me, let's say, what month is it? August 20th, and you're saying you haven't sponsored anyone this month, and I ask you how many conversations you've had, and you say 2, that's a red flag. Okay. I hope everyone sees why that's a red flag. Okay. You're going to have to talk to so many people that I want you to talk to so many people that you don't realize that they're ignoring you. When you go back to follow up with them, that last little F, the ATF, when you go back to follow up with them, you're going to realize, oh, she didn't ignore me last time. Okay. That's how many people I want you to ask. I want you to be asking more than you think. 30 a month, 1 a day. Okay. However you want to break it down. When you say, I want you to have 30 conversations, you're like, oh God, that's a lot. But then when you break it down to 1 a day or 7 a week, say you want to do them all on Monday and knock them out, you're going to figure out that's the way that you're going to consistently sponsor. Okay. Verbiage, how you ask. There is not a cookie cutter combo for sponsoring. Okay. I'm going to say it again. There is not a cookie cutter combo for sponsoring. We and all the top sponsors in our group can share conversations with you, and we do. But what we say, you cannot copy and paste and send that to 20 different people, because they're going to be like you said my name wrong, or like, I don't even know you like that, or whatever it may be. Okay. So I always tell people, especially starting out, short and sweet, let them lead the conversation. Okay. If you have no idea where to start, or you are in the conversation with someone and you don't know exactly how to bring it up, just say, have you ever thought about doing what I do? Have you ever thought about being a Scentsy consultant? Would you like to get paid back on your purchases? Those are all yes, no answers that can lead to a conversation where you can then explain to them all the tips and tricks and all the advantages to our business. We don't want to word vomit on anyone. So when you're sending these messages to ask people to start that conversation or initiate that conversation, I want you to be the shortest you can be. This is actually something, it wasn't sponsoring, but me and Anya were talking back and forth last month about our conversations with following up with people about the discontinued scents. And we shared it, and I was like, mine's just too long. And mine just really came down to like a 1-sentence check-in where it was like, hey girl, this, hibiscus pineapple is discontinuing. Let me know if you need to stock up before it leaves, period. That's when people started responding to me, because I wasn't like, oh, hey girl, here's the scent that you've ordered in the past that I know you love that's discontinuing. You can either sign up for club, I'll give you a link to shop, or blah, blah, blah. Okay. No, same thing with sponsoring. We want to keep it short and sweet. We want to see if there's any interest. They will either say yes, no, or ignore you. If they say no, you ain't gonna die. Otherwise, I'd be dead a long time ago. A lot of us would. And it might hurt your ego a little bit. And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. But what you have to offer is so much more than someone's opinion. And you have to realize that. Okay. I'm not going to go into that right now. So the other thing is ask every single host. Every single host. The first thing, before I even send them an invite to their own party, I ask them, hey, as a host with a qualifying party, you have the option to get the host exclusive kit and get paid off your party. Is that something you're interested in? Yes or no? They have to answer me before I invite them to their own party. Okay. That is a conversation. No, not right now. Okay. Maybe I'll think about it. Okay. Whatever that answer is, it's going to lead you into something else. Okay. And then who to ask? Best host, obviously, best customers, whose vibe you like. There's people on social media that I just love their social media presence. And I'm like, I would love to have someone like them on my team that is authentically sharing what they like. Okay. I like how they talk. I like their verbiage. I like the way they take their pictures, all of those things. So I'm very upfront with my customers, even in other direct sales business. And I'm like, girl, I am loving what you're doing. Okay. Have you ever thought about doing something like Scentsy? Okay. All right. The second letter T, track. You have to have a system for sponsoring. You have to. Okay. I say you have to because you have to track who you're talking to remember it. I don't care what kind of brain you got. You cannot remember everybody you are talking to if you're talking to enough people. Okay. For me personally, and I can share what I use and Ani can share what she uses, but what you track with them is obviously their name, when you talk to them, and how the convo went. Take some notes on them. It does not have to be fancy at all. This is going to tell you a few things in return. It's going to tell you how many convos you're having in a certain amount of time. So how many conversations you're actually having a week or a month. Because then when I started tracking my conversations, I was like, oh gosh, I feel like I talk about it so much, but I'm not. Okay. Because I started tracking them and I realized I wasn't having that many intentional conversations. Did I share it on Facebook? Did I share it on social media? Sure. But to have those one-on-one conversations and have that first letter ask, it wasn't as many as I thought. Okay. And then it's going to give you a list to follow up with, which is our last letter. Some people call the system a dream team list. I don't care what you call it. Just keep some kind of system that you can say, hey, this is what I use. Because as you become a leader, you're going to need to be able to share these things with your teammates. This is what I use to keep track of my conversations. Okay. Something that you can share. However you track it, do it, and it will make a difference in your sponsoring. I promise you. People start off tracking how many conversations they have and they stop sponsoring. I've seen it happen so many times. And I don't really care if you want to track it or not. If you're successful in sponsoring and you don't have a system, I promise you one day you're going to get to a point, your team's going to be so freaking huge. You're going to be like spinning in circles, trying to remember who you talk to, when you talk to them and all of that. Okay. I promise. Start it now. So it's second nature when you're to that point. And then the last one is follow up. So use your system follow up, like I said, in time with promotions. You have a list. I have a list of people that I've talked to that have said, not right now. I've thought about it, but I'm not, ready yet. I have a list of people. So when we have joint promotions like we do this month, I can say, hey, just wanted to check in and make sure that you saw that we have a joint promotion this month. This is huge. Okay. Which leads me into our next part of our joint promotion this month. This is and I said it this morning in my training, this is probably my favorite join special because it benefits both sides. It benefits me as the person who's sponsoring and it benefits them as the person coming in. Why? Because we both have a goal for them coming in. Shooting star is always the first goal. Okay. It's always the first goal. It's always the first thing I talk to about my people. But the fact that they can get that kit for free is insane. Okay. And so sharing that in an authentic way, going live, not just posting flyers, but having conversations with people, and really being intentional with how you're sharing that. The other ways to sponsor obviously are the $99 traditional kit, which is where they just go on your website, they click join, they pay the $99, they get the full kit, and they're good to go. The other option is the host exclusive kit, which is one of my favorites. It's $59 with a qualifying party. So there's so many different ways you can do this. And I know some of y'all had some questions about this the other night. So if you have any about how or any questions about the how, we can post that in the group. We can post some trainings that show you step by step. But just know that any party that you have, you can assign that kit to anyone. It doesn't have to be the host. And a lot of people don't realize that. So you always, if you have a qualifying party, have a discounted kit is what we like to refer to it as. This host exclusive kit, like I said at the beginning, flipping that kit to the hostess as they're hosting, or offering to help host their launch party and then have them join that way and then flip it to them after. So you already know ahead of time pretty much that they're joining. You're helping them with their launch party, Lord of mercy. And then at the end, you're flipping the PRV that you had to them, and they're getting that host exclusive kit for $59, which they can also use the rewards to. Now, the other last thing is still the host exclusive kit, but like I said, it's something that I like to call a discounted kit. I always have a discounted kit available. How? Because I have a catch-all party. I have multiple catch-all parties actually. Okay. So what I do with that is the link that I share on my link tree that I share with anyone who's not in a party. Usually if I have a party that needs help, I'll give them that link, but otherwise they shop on my catch-all party. That all those rewards I use not for me, but for my customers, for scent circles, for thank yous, for hostess gifts. And then that means that I always have a kit, $59, but I always choose to use part of my credits, my free credits, to lessen that even more for people. Okay. You cannot say free, and you cannot put a specific number on there of how much it is if it's less than the $59. Okay. So keep that in mind. There are some compliance issues with that. You have to be careful. Do not ever say free. The only thing you can say free with this month is the shooting star kit. You can't say free with that. But I can say, hey, I have one discounted kit up for grabs, or hey, I've even seen people get creative with it where they're like, I have a kit that's available for less than what a 6-pack of wax is. Okay. Those kind of things where people are like, oh, well, shit, I mean, $30, how much is that? And people are getting interested in how much it really is for them to join. Now, all of that is completely up to you if you want to use your free rewards towards that. If you want to offer a $59 kit, I 110% agree that that is an amazing deal. But I will suggest that you, and again, this is totally up to you, but my suggestion is that you always have them invest something. Okay. So you can't even say free kit. You can say no out of pocket cost, and that is up to you if you want to offer them that. If you have a party that's over $500, they can get that kit for free. But that can be an iffy area for people, because that's $59 kit that has a lot more product worth than that in there. Okay. So I personally like my, the people that I sponsor to invest something in it. Just a suggestion. All right. So I have all the questions aside. So if there's any, we'll talk about them after, but, I want to talk about what is holding you back. And I saw that some people in the chat talked about the fear, right? The worry of what someone's going to think or say, because you don't want to be that girl. First of all, none of us want to be that girl. We all know what girl we're talking about, where it's Spammy Susie, and she is all over Facebook and Instagram talking about join my team. First things first, don't say join my team. Okay. Don't be that girl. You get to choose that. You get to be the different girl who's changing lives and doing this in a different way, in a genuine way, in an authentic way, in the Scentsy way, where it's not, hey girl, join my team. I mean, that's all there is. Okay. So I will say that whether you ask or not to this specific person, whoever it may be, or people, they're going to say something about you regardless. And I'm here to tell you that. So whether you ask them to join your team or not, they're still going to find something wrong or something to talk about, whether it's you or someone else. So let's just focus on our lane, what we're doing, what our goals are. Okay. Because we know that this business is a blessing. So first things first, if you don't know that and you're not fully 100% mindset done, you cannot rock me. That's the first thing you need to do. You can't come to me and talk about how this isn't a real business. You can't come and talk to me about anything negative with MLM. Why? Because I know that's changed my life. I understand our business plan, and it's just not going to happen. The people that you're probably worried about what they're going to say about you are probably the same people who, how do I say this nicely? I don't think I can, so I won't say it. are probably the same people that are just, they're not the type of people you want in your life anyways. Okay. If someone's going to judge you or talk about you or spread rumors or make fun of you or whatever it is, because you ask them if they want to get some extra money on a side gig, then you don't need that kind of negativity in your life. All right. The world is changing. It is 2021. It is not 1986, the year I was born. We are doing things different. Business is different. The ways to make money is different. And if they're still stuck in 10 to 20 years ago, then that's their problem, not mine. All right. So why aren't you asking? Ask yourself that. Why are you not asking more people? Is it because you're scared they'll say no? You'll be okay. If it takes you doing something every time someone says no, like don't take any shots or anything like that, but if it takes something like where you walk around the block every time someone says no, or do a jumping jack, or reach out to your sponsor or your accountability partner, or whatever it may be, you're going to realize that those no's are literally nothing. Okay. And you're going to have to go through a lot of no's for that yes. Okay. The other thing I want you to think about is how many times, and this won't go for all of you, but how many times did your sponsor ask you before you said yes? How many times did you watch, or how many times did you almost like a post that your sponsor posted before you said yes to them? I know I have plenty of teammates who have straight up told me no, like multiple times, and they're still here. Okay. Because one, I was persistent. Two, I knew I needed them on my team, and they were watching me. It's proof that they're watching you. Okay. So, and that all ties into what Anya said about sharing consistently on your Facebook and your social media, and making sure that what you're sharing is intentional. That's why we say cut the graphics, like share real life pictures, share pictures of trainings like these, share pictures of not just samples, but of you working. If you're doing team email, if you're doing fun little boxes for your customers, or you're at an awesome event, or your family's helping you, all of that will add up to someone who is wondering what you're doing. Okay. So if you didn't take anything else, take ATF: ask, track, and follow up. You have to do those three things to be, I don't want to say be successful, but to be successful in a consistent way, maybe. Because again, once you get to a point where your group and your team is so large that you're trying to keep up with not just your customers, but your teammates, and your group and everything else, you're going to need it on some type of system. Okay. And really, it really comes down to how much you're asking. All righty. Anya, have you been looking at the questions? Are there any?
There's not really any questions. Everybody's like ready for it.
Awesome. I'll have to go through and read them. Did you have anything else to add, Anya?
One thing that is like always on my heart. When you're looking for people and you're scrolling intentionally, don't discount people. Don't discount people and be like, I don't think they would be good at this, because you don't know. You have an assumption. You're not God, right? Their potential is between them and God, not you. So don't discount anyone. And even if people come to you and say someone does fall into your lap and you're like, ooh, like, I don't know, ooh, just don't discount them. You don't know what they can do. Okay. And I'm telling you, some of the best consultants on my team, I never would have thought about, but like, they've surprised me immensely. So I will just say that don't discount people. Their potential is not up to you. Okay. Just put it out there for all the people. That's it.
Yeah, and I actually did take 2 notes from when you were talking. I just wanted to reiterate again that it's not about you. When you start seeing this and your mindset is shifted from how many people can I get to join my team to how many people can I bless with this business, things are going to change. I promise you. I remember hearing that and I was like, okay, because I'm not gonna lie to y'all. When I started this business, I mean, most of us, we started for either we need some extra money or we need a discount on our product. Those are the two main reasons. Okay. So it was about me. It was about how could I get myself farther. But then when it took that first person where I saw them change because of what we did as a team, and maybe that's what it's going to take is for it to actually happen. And I know it sounds silly and I know it sounds cliche and all of the things, but I promise you, once you start thinking in it in a way of how can I bless people with this? How can I help them with this? Who do I know that needs something like this in their life? It's going to change you, them, your life, everything. That's what I put in my little introduction today, is that the reason that I started is not the reason that I'm still here. If that was the fact, I would have been gone a long time ago. I made my $300 a month. Okay. That I wanted to make when I first started. And the last thing I have is stop seeing it as a burden to ask other people. So when you're asking people, stop thinking of it as you're bothering them, and word it in a way. If you're asking someone something about joining and you go back and read it and you're like, that gives me the heebie-jeebies, like I'm not quite okay with that, change your wording the next person you ask, and please go back and reflect on that. It gives me the willy-nillys to look back on some of the conversations I had 3 years ago. It's ugly. It is not cute. It is super spammy because I didn't know what I was doing. Okay. But I have learned that one, I don't want to be that girl. And I was that girl. But now that's some of the biggest compliments I get from my customers is I love just how genuine you are. And when the answer, or, when to not push, I guess. Persistent and pushing is two different things. But stop seeing it as an inconvenience when you're talking to someone about the joint opportunity. See it as you're helping them. See it as you want to help them. Okay. And I will say that me and Anya have actually started a challenge between us two. And if any of y'all want to get in on this for the month, please text me or her. We will start something. But we're doing 60 combos this month. Our goal each is to do 60 combos. That sounds like a lot. It is. That's 2 a day. That's not a lot. So it's the third. I've had more than 6 conversations. That's how many I had on the first day when that joint special came out. Okay. Because there are so many opportunities. And I talked about that this morning on why you should be talking to people. Anyone that comes across your DMs should be knowing that there is a special promotion. Okay. Even if it's just for that kit, because those products are bomb. I wish that was our shooting star kit when we joined, because it wasn't nothing like it. All right. Yes. Awesome. Mindy, Sylvia, Haley, you are in 60 conversations this month. I cannot wait. Michelle, awesome. I'm not going to remember these. So text me or Anya or message us, because we are keeping each other accountable, because I've never had that many conversations in a month, to be honest with you. I probably had, the most I've ever had was probably 40. But we are trying to cruise, and I know y'all are too. So does anyone have any other questions before we stop the recording?
Mindy had a question. She said, when was that aha moment for you? When it came to where it wasn't just about you and what you want to do, but it blessing other people.
To be completely honest, it was after I hit director. I feel like once I saw that change in other people, that gave me so much more joy than my first X amount of paycheck or my X amount of team members or whatever it was. And I realized that joy, like, it literally makes me want to cry. I wish I could cry, but, I can't. But when that made me feel that way, to where it's unexplainable. I mean, it really is, where you're to the point where you're just like, gosh, she did that. She did something she told me she would never do. Like, that's huge to me, because I was a part of that. I'm not the reason, but I was a part of that growth, and I was a part of that achievement. And that's worth so much more than anything else. And really just the change in myself too, as a person. You can ask my husband, Eric, you can ask my family. Just me as a person has changed so much because of the people around me that have changed. So there's not like one certain time. I just know that like, and again, me and Ani were talking about this, where it's like, we want our people to focus on the bigger picture, but they can't really focus on that until they experience that. And that's not going to happen until you keep on going. And that's why we say keep going, because you're eventually going to get to that point where you're like, I get it. I get why they were saying that. So I don't know if that's really an answer, but that's my answer.
I'll say it's funny you say that, because even Alex, right, who is one of my directors, and she had a director promote in July, she voice texted me as soon as Brittany promoted, and she was like, I'm in tears. It's one thing when you hit director, it is a whole different feeling when one of your people hit director, because you're like, oh, they did it. It's just this whole big thing. And I was like, this is what I was trying to explain to you, but you don't get it fully until you're there. So
Exactly.
it is true.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's again, like why we do these type of things too, where it's like, and like, this is how we were taught, right, from our upline to do these type of things for y'all and to provide this. But it's not about us anymore. Like and your directors can say the same, that it's not about them anymore. And they're to a point in their business where it's like generational growth now. It's not just all here. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So we're going to go ahead and end the recording.